to episode 80 of Anime and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is the review show that reviews anime from A to Z, sort of.
Alright guys, last episode we got category T, and TJ used his pick.
My
his
last
favorite
one.
Anime.
My last one.
Thank God, never fucking get another one.
You're just jealous.
So jealous.
Just jealous. Yeah, this is my favorite anime.
I had fond memories of
Hold
it as a
on.
kid.
It's my favorite anime for T, which is Trigun, which you never said.
Yeah, I said Trigun.
You didn't say
category T.
You want to go back and look the recording? You never said
Fine.
it. Pause. I was right. Anyway.
It said it.
No.
He was too busy talking.
Nope.
Trigun.
Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, I had fond memories of it as a child, but I didn't really remember much besides the first few episodes. His brother's name was Knives, and they're kind of aliens. I didn't remember much from that. So it's kind of like watching it fresh again. And I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I would, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I would rank it up there with Cowboy Bebop for its era. It's the better anime of its time.
It definitely is. It's
not perfect.
Oh, no.
I got a couple little gripes.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think there's a perfect anime out there.
Well, I mean, everything's subjective. So
yeah, I mean, this is as close to it as it gets for me, but, you know.
What's really cool is the manga didn't stop being written until 2009.
Oh, yeah?
So there's a lot more out there.
Well, that's cool.
If you like it, there's a lot more to read. And the manga and the anime vary pretty in big ways. There's big differences between the two.
Are there?
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Anyway, it came out in 1998 is when it aired the anime, and Madhouse made it. Told you I remember.
I'm surprised you remembered that much, but that's about all you got.
That's all I needed.
He doesn't have the wiki up for once, and I'm surprised he remembered anything.
Yeah, I probably should have remembered the guy's name.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
he's important.
He is important.
We won't.
We are such a professional show.
Premise.
Yeah, what's the premise?
Oh, it's your favorite show.
Yeah, but you do the premise.
So the premise, at least for a while, is just you're in this desert western wasteland, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And you follow a character who's goofy but likable. Bit of a womanizer, he's terrible at it.
I think that's more of a ploy than anything else.
Yeah, and there's a $60 billion double dollar bounty, which I think the double dollar thing is just
stupid.
I think they did it just because it sounded funny.
Yeah, probably because it sounds stupid, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And so there's a lot of bounty hunters coming after him. He sees something going down. He's a pacifist. He has to stop him. I don't mind him being a pacifist. I mind, and we'll get into a lot of the timeline and stuff later. I mind it taking over 100 years for him to realize that sometimes you gotta kill bad people. And then he still doesn't kill the bad people at the end.
No, he's not. That's not. It's his beliefs. He's a pacifist because he believes that to his core.
Right, but no, that changes at the end. He even says that. He says it in the very last episode. He says, what is her name? Rem?
Yeah.
Rem, I'm gonna follow my words now.
He's gonna follow your
words. He changed his beliefs, but he still didn't kill him.
He's not. That doesn't mean he's gonna go kill people.
Even though he killed the guy in the last episode.
He didn't have a choice in that one. It's not like he's gonna stop doing what he's doing. He's not gonna stop being a pacifist.
I'm not saying he has to become a super badass like Wolfwood and kill everybody. I'm not saying that. But, I mean, come on.
I knew we were gonna have contention on this pacifist. I absolutely
Pussyfest, by the way. Called it pacifist. Wrong word.
No.
Do you know what Pussyfest is?
No.
It's from Red vs. Blue. It's the same. It's just a different word for the same thing.
Oh, I watched that series too. And
I love that series. I only watched up to season 4. A lot more than that, but that's all I saw. It was good.
Yeah, well, and we're not reviewing Red vs. Blue.
No, just throwing it out.
We're going.
Good show, though.
Yeah, it is a good show. Anyway.
So probably for a while there, that's all it really is they're following him and then these 2 insurance girls that are supposed to find him and follow him and try to keep him from causing damage.
Yeah, because they keep having to pay out disaster.
And apparently there's only one insurance company on this entire planet.
No.
Is there more than one?
There's more. I don't know if they actually say it in the show, but I did watch the movie that comes with it, and they do say that they're just the most frugal insurance company. Where
that's why they send people out.
Yeah, that's why they don't want to spend the money. They're the most cheap, essentially. That's why they do what they do.
Yeah, eventually you run into a guy named Wolfwood who's a traveling priest, sort of.
Yeah, he's a traveling priest, I guess. Yeah, he's got his own
little story.
He's got his own confessional hat, so.
Yeah. Cross cufflinks.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. He's my favorite character for the most part. I like him a lot.
There's a few great storylines going through with him and Vash, so.
Yeah, they have their contentions with each other.
Yeah.
Over Vash being a pacifist and not killing people when it's needed.
Right.
Which is why I like
yeah, but yeah.
He protects kids like my D&D character.
Which one?
Coat?
Coat's...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it was Coat.
No, Coat. Yeah, it was Coat.
It's Coat.
Coat's dead now.
Yeah,
so
Coat. Yeah, Coat is because Coat.
Very similar characters. Sure.
Sure. Yeah, that's what they are.
Go on.
Was that the end of the premise?
Yeah, that's premise for most of it. And then eventually you find out that they're sort of aliens, sort of people. They don't really explain it, but what it seems in what they show you in a couple images, don't really explain it, is that there's these beings, angel-type beings, that power the plants.
Yeah.
And in a couple images, you see Vash and Knives, who's his brother, in, like, I want to say, like, a fake womb. They've got umbilical cords.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's, as far as I can tell, I'm led to believe that they're half human and half aliens, especially because when they get their guns, Knives talks about how we can only get to so much capacity.
Well,
they can't do 100%.
At a couple junctures through the series, well, at least when Knives is introduced, Knives refers to themselves as plants. So they're not really aliens as much as they're plants.
Well, I think plant is more of a metaphor, especially with the way, I looked into this a tiny bit, especially with the way Japanese, the language works. The language is really metaphorical. So plant is what a lot of people were thinking could mean a couple things. It could be plant as in nuclear reactor, because the full beings are literally nuclear reactors in a sense. They're creating energy.
Right.
And plant in the sense that they live for a very long time. We know that they live for hundreds of years.
Right. I mean, but there's that fact, but there's also points where Knives is shooting through trees and he says, why would I care about people when I'm hurting my own species and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So I just took it literal that they're actual plants.
Yeah, maybe it is somewhat literal. I think it's more metaphorical, though.
Well, I'm sure it is, maybe in the Japanese version, but I'm saying in the dubbed, Americanized version.
When I say Japanese, I meant the manga, the source material.
Right. That's what I mean. But for the show, I think they took it literally. Yeah. So, and that's what we're going. I actually haven't read the manga.
And when they use their guns, their special powers that they have, their arms do look a little kind of wood, almost.
Right.
And then at the back, there's like feathers coming out, so angel-esque.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot not explained.
Really, there is. But apparently the manga's really big, so I'm assuming most of it's explained in there.
Yeah, and it's really strange that this show didn't get a second season if there is so much.
Yeah. I mean, everyone liked it on TV.
It was, from what I understand, really critically loved, but at the same time, it ended pretty well, too, though.
Yeah, I didn't like the ending.
Well, I knew you weren't going to like the ending. But I get it. It's an ending.
It's not resolved.
Knives
is still alive, and he's a psychopath that wants to end humanity. It's not resolved at all.
Yeah.
What's he going to do with him? Vash isn't the kind of guy that's going to chain him up in a cell and, keep him locked up forever.
Right, I know.
He's just going to go kill people again.
But I kind of like the ending. And I think ending it there is how they've solved that issue.
If there was a second season, that's a great ending.
Right, no, but I'm saying, I think they ended it there for that reason, that, maybe there's not a good way to get around the Knives thing, so you ended it ambiguous so that...
I don't know, but there is an ending. Just not in the anime. And you find more about their powers and stuff. I didn't go into too depth in the reading into it because I didn't read the manga, but apparently Vash can heal himself. He gets into learning how to do that and all that. And so, let's say he blows a hole through him. He can heal it, but it uses his life force, so he doesn't age as long now. His life force is shorter, and his hair eventually turns black because he uses too much of it.
That's
a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of weird stuff. Because in the show, when he takes off his clothes, because he takes off his clothes quite a bit towards the end.
Yeah, towards the end.
He's got, metal plates and shit. Yeah. He doesn't heal himself.
Crazy scars, metal plates. He's got one arm.
So, what I found interesting about this show, because we're in a Wild West wasteland, but this is essentially the last of the human race leaving Earth to find, and they got crash landed on this planet.
Yeah. Which is what it seems to be. We don't know if it was the last of the human race. It doesn't actually say, but that's what you can assume.
They said that the planet was rejecting them or something, so they all got on spaceships.
You can assume that.
Yeah. I guess it's fair that some people are left behind.
6 billion people on Earth.
Yeah.
You ain't taking them all.
They had a lot of spapeships, and a lot
of them died.
And a lot of them died, and there's still a lot of people on this planet.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, no, we're good. Sorry.
What?
I was gonna go off on a tangent. But one thing that was odd is that people forgot. This is something I wanted to bring up. So, Knives... They're all in their spaceships. Knives makes them crash land. A lot of them die. More of them die. He actually said a small percentage survived.
Mm-hmm.
So they crash land, and from crash landing to now, it's been about 100 years, maybe a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And they all forgot about these aliens. They all forgot about the plants and how to use them. And now that would make sense if you didn't have the written word, but they have that. They have books. They have rudimentary technology. They have guns. You know what I mean? They have written words. So it makes zero sense for them to forget how to use these things when they were proficient in using them before before they crash landed?
Not necessarily, because who knows? Maybe all the people that knew how to, not everybody would know how to use this technology.
Sure.
So maybe that giant percentage was all the power plant people.
I'm assuming each ship has power plants on it.
I mean, you would assume
That's how
so,
you power it.
we don't even know how many ships crashed and survived.
Enough to repopulate this whole
but
you just said there's a lot of people.
Yeah, but
so
who
enough.
knows? Maybe it was just one ship full of people that had thousands or millions of people in stasis.
And none of them know how to use it. Well, there's no books. There's no technology.
Well, they know how to use it to a certain extent because they get electricity out of it.
Yeah, but they don't. They also explained that they don't actually know how it works. The lady that was sent to repair it says, "Oh yeah, we don't really know how it works, but I'm going to get it working."
But it could also be the fact that
But my point wasn't really that they don't really know how to work this stuff. My point was they forgot about the aliens. They forgot about Vash. They forgot about all this really important shit. Just gone.
Well, maybe they didn't know about it in the first place.
I don't buy it.
Because
I think it's a little bit
because I think they found Vash and Knives during the trip.
That's possible. They didn't actually say.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that because we had the still images of them as babies with umbilical cords that they made them.
Yeah, but at one.
But that's just a.
Yeah.
That's just a. That's
yeah,
just an
but
idea.
the people that made them were like that skeleton crew that was up there at the time. Everyone else was still at stasis. You get what I'm saying?
That's possible. Do we know they were in stasis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were all. That's why there was only 6 of them up there. And
yeah.
Everybody else was locked.
Well, at least on that ship, but yeah.
And they were pretty. And no, I think that was all of them because they said they were responsible for the entire thing. Everything else was automated.
That makes sense. Still, come on.
I mean, it's a
little much.
It's a little ridiculous, but we're also in outer space, crashing on a desert planet,
and then you forget things.
But I'm just saying,
you can't react. Like they would still know how to access the computers and technology on the crash-landed ships.
I mean, this is also 100 years in the future. How much of that generation survived? There's left,
Well, that my point is written word. They have that. You pass it down.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
And the power plants work, so the technology still worked.
But I also took it to the fact that they didn't really never knew how the technology worked. They might have just accidentally captured these aliens and imprisoned them in these giant light bulbs.
Yeah, that was weird. Plants were giant light bulbs.
So, for all they know, this is magic.
It was just a little. The people that captured them knew it wasn't magic.
Yeah,
so they knew how to harness it properly.
But there's not. It's not. We can't. We're having an argument with not enough facts.
That's true, but that's kind of my point. Like,
which is probably answered in the manga.
Maybe because that was the reason why I was looking it up, and no one really had the answer. So I don't know if it's completely answered there.
I don't know.
Anyway, it is good. It's just
It didn't bother me. I didn't even think about it.
Bothers me a bit.
Didn't even notice at all. I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay, we're moving on to the next interesting mystery bit that's going on here. So
yeah. So for the first, I don't really know how many. Maybe 12 episodes. Maybe a little less. Maybe a little more. It's pretty much just short stories.
Yeah.
They run into a town. Some crazy shit happens. Vash tries to help. Sometimes it doesn't end well.
No, it never really ends well.
Well, a couple times it ended okay.
It ended okay for individual people.
Yeah.
But there's always massive property damage.
Yeah, massive property damage. Sometimes a lot of people die. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah, well, he usually keeps them all alive up until when the really, really bad guys come.
Yeah, the gung-ho
guns. Yeah.
And then you start getting into gung-ho guns and Lambert? No, Lamb. I forget his name. But Knives pretty much recruits him. And Vash's shot off left arm gets put on. Yeah, his left arm is Vash's.
Yeah, I know. But I'm trying to remember when his arm got shot off.
They show it in the last episode. In the last episode, they show it getting shot off when they were kids. And not kids, but it was 10 years later after they crashed.
Okay, right. See, they play a lot with what's the word? The right term for order of
timeline.
Yeah, the timeline.
They mess around a bit.
They mess around with it. They don't you don't get the full story of what's going on until the last episode.
Yeah, which is you had 25 episodes. You could have sprinkled this throughout.
They did.
You waited for the last. It's very similar to Attack on Titan, and then the last episode is nearly entirely exposition.
Nearly, but they didn't really have. I don't think they had a.
It wasn't as bad as Attack on Titan.
No. The last episode was. I guess they didn't want to have it because it was only the first half of the episode was that exposition. The second half was all Knives and
they had the gunfight.
Right, but they did sprinkle out the backstory throughout the second half.
A little bit.
Second half, they had a whole episode dedicated to it. It comes out of nowhere too.
Yeah, you didn't think this is what was going to happen.
Yeah, no.
Episode.
It's like,
and he goes off to space, or it's close to space.
Well, we open up in space. It's like, okay, we're in space now. which was weird. Yeah, we're all from like.
Well, the first half was the short little stories.
Yeah, it's short little stories, which I'm surprised you actually liked because they were.
I didn't like them that much. They're okay. They're bearable with this.
I was about to say they're very episodic.
Yeah, if those were cut out, I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't hate it. You would lose a lot of characters.
You would lose a lot of characters, especially with Millie and Meryl. I think
Millie and Meryl.
You would lose a lot of that. Some of Wolfwood too.
You would lose a lot of Wolfwood actually, because his introduction pretty much sets him up for how he is opposite of Vash, and then you miss out on.
But that's kind of why it's bearable though. Like it's a lot of bullshit stories, but the side character development is pretty good in those stories.
And I also like the world development in it. Like at one point, one of the side adventures, they come across these robots just appear out of the sand and start shooting people, and it's like, okay, what's going on? It's like, and that was like the first time we got an instance of that. It's like, okay, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. And then they find a plant and stuff.
A lot of crazy shit. Like there's the Frankie family, I think it was what it was called.
Oh god!
And there's ginormous. The guy's the size of a Titan.
Yeah,
one of the guys in the family.
The character designs in this is out there.
It's out there. It's enjoyable though. It's not it's stylistically it's very similar to Cowboy Bebop. Not necessarily with the giant people, but the character design is very stylistically similar.
Yeah, it's just crazy enough to be.
People are distinct.
Yes, you know who they are. Mm-hmm. You never get confused, and they go all the way with it. Like that one guy, the giant with the giant head, like you're talking about in the arm, shows up with his dad, which is this little scientist guy.
3 teeth.
Yeah, scientist guy. But then later that comes back because his wife and daughter, the wife was, so that little scientist got with that big giant Attack of Titan lady and had 5 kids or something like that. And the kid, the sister is just a normal sized girl. So it's very strange, but it's neat how some characters came back and
that was actually pretty good. They came back. It wasn't a one-off like most of the short stories that they did.
Right. And they spent the first half of the season just developing Vash and Wolfwood and Millie and stuff like that, which was a slow burn and everything.
Yeah, you find out that Millie, you find out pretty early on that she's got a thing for Wolfwood.
Yeah. Well, you knew where it was going. Vash and Meryl were kind of going to be a thing, and then Millie and Wolfwood were going to kind of be a thing. But then that all turns very depressing.
Yeah. When Wolfwood fucking dies. And Millie is bawling her eyes out.
It was rough. Because you don't go into a show like this expecting, someone to die.
Yeah, it's especially for the first half of the show, it's very happy-go-lucky. Yeah. I mean, there's some heavy undertones with...
Right, there's heavy stuff going on.
Kids starving, stuff like that, but it's still, for the most part, it's happy-go-lucky.
But when the gung-ho guns come up, everything starts going to hell.
People start dying, like instantly.
Everybody keeps dying. Like, even the gung-ho guns, every one of them ends up dead. Mm-hmm. And Vash defeats the first 2, and then the other gung-hos string them up in the street, and it's like, you killed them because you defeated them, so they're dead.
Big difference between the anime and the manga. You know how the one guy Vash kills is the right-hand man of Knives?
Yeah, it's bothering me that I can't remember his name.
I think it's Lambert or something.
No, it's it starts with an L. It's like Liugas or something like that. It's driving me nuts.
The big difference between those two is in the manga, Wolfwood kills him.
Oh, yeah?
Wolfwood was like forced to join the Gunho Guns, and then he betrays him, and because Vash was held captive for 8 months, and and he was like super weak because I guess they weren't feeding him. I don't really know. And then Wolfwood betrays the Gunho Guns, goes gets Vash, and kills the guy. Puts a bullet in the back of his head.
Oh, wow!
So huge difference there.
Well, because Wolfwood is a gung-ho gun.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not actually a gung-ho gun. He's an apprentice of one of the gung-hos. But Knives sent him to protect Vash up until for as long as he could. Yeah. But that's interesting that it happened like that because I think Vash killing... God, it's driving me nuts, his name.
You want to look it up?
Yeah, because I
just looked it up. Sorry for pausing it while he was talking there. Legato.
It was Legato. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm surprised they put that it was changed that well, because Vash killing Legato is, like, one of the biggest moments in the show.
Supposedly Vash still kills someone. Maybe it's Knives, maybe it's not, maybe it's someone else, but supposedly he does still kill someone in the manga.
I don't know, I just felt like he had no choice there. The insurance girls were going to die, and he was like, you need to kill me, and these gung-ho goes are really...
They're out to get it done.
They're out, not only are they out to get it done, they are doing this to die for Knives.
Yes.
They believe, because Knives believes humans are insects that don't belong on they're just locusts, and they don't believe anything, so he's out to wipe out the human race, and these guys follow him, and they believe they're nothing, and their goal is to die for Knives. And Legato's like, kill me or they die. And pretty much to make Vash suffer for eternity that he has a life on his hands. Because we didn't explain. Rem, the girl who raised them, essentially, pretty much raised them to be a pacifist. But Knives is like super evil.
He's just psychotic.
Yeah, he's psychotic. But Vash took it to heart. And
they're polar opposites.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Vash took it to heart. Like, I'm not killing anybody. And then Knives ends up killing her. And that makes her a martyr in his mind. And
he just takes her teachings to heart.
And takes 100%. It to heart. 100. Yep. No, without a doubt. So
can't think for himself. Not for 100 years.
He does think for himself.
Not that though. Can't think for himself. Not in that sense.
Some people take their teachings to heart. That's what happened. Some people follow Buddhism, and they were taught by that, and they follow those to heart.
There's a sect of Buddhists in one of the Asian countries today that behead people.
I know.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, it happens. People take their beliefs to heart.
He's not people. The plant.
That's speciesist.
I really think he is half plant, half human, though.
Yeah, probably.
That's just what I think.
Or,
could not be, though.
He could be fully plant with just sentience.
Yeah, and they just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, or maybe he's half angel, half plant.
Well, I say plant. When I say plant, I think of the angel beings, and they're just using plant as the name for that.
Like an Asimar?
Yeah.
That's a D&D term, by the way.
Skid mark.
What the skid mark?
Skid mark was it Abe's character name? It's not actually skid mark, but with the Asimir in his name, I just call him skid mark.
Oh.
Anyway,
that was...
The show's good. You should watch it for sure.
Well, it's my favorite anime, without a doubt. It's always been...
For its time period, it's one of the best.
Right.
Overall, it's still one of the best. I just don't think it's top 3.
It holds up.
Yeah, yeah.
It holds up. Definitely.
The only thing that doesn't hold up is probably the art, and that's just a product of its time.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do about that.
There's not. I mean,
10 years from now, anime is going to be looking different than it is looking now. That's just how it is.
Yeah, we don't ever judge an anime based on its art compared to now. Anyway, we judge it after its time.
Yeah, if it was made last year and it looked like that, well, that's a problem.
Right, but if it was made in that time period and looked like shit,
that's still a problem.
That's still a problem.
But it looked great for its time period.
Exactly, it looked as good as Cowboy Bebop or any of those other ones. So yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say? Any good things? What's bad about it?
What's
bad that you don't like?
You're gonna have to give me a moment to think through something. But meanwhile, you should. We didn't really go through it. Talk about Wolfwood's death.
Oh yeah, so he's fighting his teacher, his instructor, the gun-ho gun guy that is training him.
He was also a priest.
Yeah, and they're fighting, and eventually they shoot each other, and Wolfwood does kill him, but Wolfwood gets mortared.
Right,
and he goes to talk to Ash. Get specifically what they say.
Vash was. I think he just killed Legato.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and Wolfwood pretty much just give him.
No, he hadn't killed Legato yet.
Oh, he let somebody die.
Yeah.
He failed to save somebody again, and he was like, I don't know, and Wolfwood just gave him some words of encouragement, and then left him there, and then Vashi's the blood.
Mm-hmm. Vashi's the blood, and Wolfwood goes to a church and gives his first confession.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's sad.
Because he doesn't say, I'm at peace with anything. He's like, I'm not...
He sort of does at first. At first, he's like, if I die now, it's not that bad, especially if I go to Eden, and, if I go somewhere where there's not a lot of death. And then he's like, wait a second, there's still things I gotta do. And it almost looks like he's trying to stand up or trying to live, and then he dies.
Right. It was like acceptance at first, but he's like trying to convince himself that he had accepted it, and then realized, F this, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
It was one of the better deaths in an anime that I've seen.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
Because it hit hard.
It didn't hit that hard, but it was good.
No, it hit hard.
I
didn't cry.
Well, then it didn't hit that hard.
I mean, it wasn't like the Wolf's Rain's deaths. With that first one where, Tobaway and the hunter guy, that one was...
The hardest death that's hit me in anime is probably with Steins Gate and Mayuri. Her dying over and over again, and what's his name? The scientist guy. I forget his name off the top of my head. But
your favorite anime, remember the main characters?
I remember Mayuri and her death, and him going through it over and over again, him kind of going crazy. That hit harder.
And that didn't hit hard for me, really, because I hate time travel. I was like, I know how this is going to end.
I typically hate time travel, but I feel like...
I knew how that was going to end. I knew she was going to eventually save her.
You actually don't, because you haven't seen the second season yet.
That's an alternate reality that doesn't count.
No, it's the second season.
No, they take make an alternate...
They erased episode 24.
I know!
And 23 and used 23B.
I know! Exactly. It's an alternate timeline. It doesn't count.
Well, it's the main timeline now.
I like how you hijacked my favorite anime to talk about your favorite anime.
It was a good death for Wolfwood. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I did not think about one thing. I couldn't think
his
of
cross thing. We can talk about his giant cross.
Oh, no, go ahead.
He carries a giant cross around.
It's awesome.
Which is two things. It's a really cool weapon. The sides of the cross that go horizontally they open up and it's got a bunch of pistols in it. The long part on the cross is a giant machine gun. And then the short top part is a missile launcher.
Awesome.
And he bears this cross. He walks around with it. And it's sort of like a symbolism for all his sins in his past and all that. How he's at peace with it and it's easy for him to carry. But anyone else that picks it up always comments on how heavy it is.
Right.
So there's that. That was pretty cool. I've got that cross as a necklace somewhere in the house. I've had that since I was bought it at Hot Topic.
Of course you did.
I got a couple things there.
Of course you did.
Who's the bigger Trigun fan? I got Wolfwood's cross.
Me, because it's my favorite anime. You like Steins Gate more.
But is my fandom, even though it's not my favorite anime, is it still higher than yours? Because I own more memorabilia? I get words out.
Do you own the DVDs?
I don't need to, not in today's world.
Exactly.
Just watch it on Hulu for free.
Exactly. I at least supported the show.
I bought merchandise.
You bought merchandise. You bought, how much was that cross?
Probably like $20.
Probably.
The DVD set should have been more than 20.
A Hot Topic probably was $20.
Yeah, probably. The freaking like pewter type metal, stainless steel, whatever the fuck it was.
You got ripped off
cheap, for sure.
Just because you got ripped off more than I did doesn't mean anything.
Well, how much you buy that DVD set for? Back then, it was probably like $60.
No, it's a small one. It's got like 4 discs to it. It was like 30 at most.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, you know, speaking of DVDs, so when I watched them because I had them instead of watching it on Hulu and stuff like that. So I put them in, and the trailers. Every time I get a box set, we watch them, then I have the series. So I watch the trailers just to see what was thing on it. And the first trailer on the first disc was Full Metal Panic.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the second one was actually Eden of the East.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That doesn't make any sense for when it came out. So it makes sense because the DVDs, when the specific DVDs were made.
Yeah, this was definitely a couple years after. Yeah. Because it was
more than a couple.
It was a complete series or something like that. Yeah, It was
Eden of the East ain't that old. That's like 2015 or something.
No, it's not that. It's like 2011.
Still.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, because it was like a complete set kind of thing. What else was on there? Samurai Champloo, which I never saw.
That was okay. It's got this weird rap undertone that I never really liked.
Okay.
But it's a good show. I'm not going to say it's bad.
I heard good things about it. And then there was another one that I didn't recognize. I don't remember what the name of it was. But I thought it was pretty neat that it was like good anime for the trailers on there. Because like when we watched, what was it? We watched one of them that had it. And it was like Please Teacher and shit like that on there. But yeah.
So before we wrap it up and end it, I wanted to say that Trigun is probably the anime that inspired me to like revolvers as much as I do. So I own guns, and revolvers are just like iconic, man. I love them. They're so cool. And Vash's gun is a revolver. Yeah. it's a cool ass revolver. I got a big frame just like it.
Vash, who doesn't kill with his revolver.
Well, he killed once.
Yeah, I mean.
I haven't killed anyone yet. I'm the pacifist.
I played D&D with you. You're not a pacifist.
The characters I play aren't.
But yeah, there's a lot of good moments in it. Like, you know what? Let's talk about the ending. I know you said you didn't like it.
Knives and
so after he kills all the gung ho guns and it's just him, he takes Wolfwood's cross and goes to confront Knives. That's the setup. Good.
They have their fight, and even though it's a really close fight, Vash wins. He shoots him up. He's mortally wounded.
Well, no, he's not. He shoots him in the shoulder.
Well, he's bleeding out.
He shoots him in both shoulders and both kneecaps.
At least. I think he was shot more. I think he had one in the gut or something like that. Either way, even if it was just shoulders and kneecaps, that's mortally wounded.
He'll just heal himself anyway.
But it is mortally wounded if you don't get help. You will bleed out.
Yeah, I know. But he did patch him up.
So he patches him up and he walks off into the distance with him.
Yeah.
He's a psychopathic murderer. Genocidal murderer. More than that, genocide is like a group of people. This is all people that he wants to murder. I don't even know if there's a word for that.
Annihilation?
Yeah, I guess. And he keeps them alive.
Well, here's my thing.
That's a poorly written character.
No, it's not a poorly written character.
You have the ability to kill Hitler, and you're letting him live.
That's such a stupid argument.
No, it isn't. It's the most similar argument you could make.
Alright, so here's the thing. It stays true to his character. One...
Yes, it does. But it's bad character development because he didn't grow.
Well, he did grow.
Apparently not when it really matters.
Because he ran from Knives for so many years. years. He grew by confronting them and defeating them.
And keeping them alive.
Yeah,
So he can get away and go kill more people.
He's going to
potentially have the chance to kill everyone.
He's going to try and change his brother.
It's not going to happen. He's a psychopath.
But here's the thing. That one, he is his brother. So, it's a family tie thing.
So what?
And two, the last thing he was told, the last wish of his mother figure was pretty much take care of Knives.
Take care
No, you can't. That's not. And the character and the development.
I get it. There's a little. I'm not gonna say there isn't any development, but it's not enough. Not for the conclusion of the entire show that you showed.
But to be fair, that's not the end of the story.
It isn't the end of the story.
It does.
But it's the end of the story that we can remember.
I will fully admit it needs a second season. It definitely does.
You gonna read the manga after this? You can buy books of it, like big old thick books, and just read through the book.
I don't like reading from left to right.
Well, if you buy the Americanized versions, you don't have it.
And I don't like the black and white. I mean, I read comics.
So your favorite anime ever, you'll never know the end to it. It's never going to get a second season.
I got my ending.
You're never going to know the actual ending.
I'm good with the ending.
I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10 because of that.
You give it whatever you want. That is your score.
But
everybody knows that your score is changing depending on what week it is, so it doesn't matter.
Don't they all? It's a different anime every week. It has to change every week.
I mean, the score for the anime you give. One week you say, "Oh, I hate this anime," and then the following week, "Oh yeah, I remember that one. It was okay."
It's usually the other way. It was okay, and now I'm like, "Oh yeah, it was terrible."
It's usually, but everyone knows that your scores don't really count. So
anyway,
okay.
What was for tea?
We have actually 3 for tea because we had one of those instances where the show wasn't finished.
Oh, right.
So it was the Galaxy Railways.
Oh, that's last.
The Master of Ragnarok, which was
that was
the phone one.
Yeah, it was
the
terrible.
phone harrow one. Yeah, and Tsunere, the archery one.
Oh, Christ! Am I really going to put archery as the second to best?
Yep.
I think I'm going to put Trigun, archery, Ragnarok, and whatever the other Galaxy Railways.
Yeah, you have to.
Jesus, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
That's also why I decided to use my pick on tea because tea has been miserable to us, and there's a lot of good teas in there that we could have got. Yeah. And every time we roll for tea, something shit comes up, and I'm like, nope, I want to do my favorite anime since we're here.
So Danny for its time, even not out of its time, it's great. I would say 9 out of 10 because I wanted more character development for him.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I just didn't get it.
Fair.
But I love Wolfwood, great character.
I'm biased, so this is my 10.
Yeah, of course.
Just like Steingate's your 10.
Totally get it.
Trigun's my 10, so
Good story, written well.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Great development.
There's a lot of twists and turns in this. It's really, you don't expect, like, they're on a wasteland. You don't expect they're from Earth and they're refugees from another planet or anything like that.
It doesn't just throw it in your face. Which is nice. It kind of sprinkles things around, like, something's not right here. Something's a little different.
Yeah. They build
What's going on?
They build up the mystery throughout the entire season, and I really like that. I don't agree with the exposition
but it wasn't terrible. Let's be fair, it wasn't terrible exposition, but it was there.
The exposition was well done.
Yes, as much as you can.
Yeah, but at the same time, I didn't like that it was, you asked me for something that I didn't like.
Okay.
So, I didn't like that the exposition episodes were all in, like, with the crammed in 2 episodes.
Oh, and episode 13, I think it was a recap episode. That was
kind of. But it was one of those shitty recap episodes that makes you watch it because there's still new stuff in it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of new stuff throughout it.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. It's like, f*** you, show. You know you're just doing a recap.
Making me f***ing watch it. Phoning it in. Jumping the shark. But whatever.
It is what it is.
So, 9 out of 10 for me, 10 out of 10 for you.
Yeah, watch it. Don't watch the other teas that we watched.
No. We are now on category U.
Is it TU? Yeah.
And there's like 7 or maybe 10 U's. There's not many. There's maybe 2 good ones. Maybe. And the rest are shit. They are shit. They're so bad. What was the one? Ultimate Muscle. You remember that TV show?
No.
Me, is it terrible?
I'm sure it is.
It's like Mexican wrestling, but with Japan, and it's like 74 episodes.
So we'll watch 8 episodes and be done with it.
Thank God. I hope we get it done, actually. let's spin for category U.
All right. And the clapping disappears.
Shawn's choice.
It is.
Oh no! Ultramarine Magnum.
It was like
on
the edge of Shawn's choice. Wheel really doesn't want to let you pick anything.
Ever!
You got it one time. And it was...
Maybe it's... Because I always make the list... Well, 99% of the time I make the list, and then he edits in all that little extra things like teasing choice, Shawn's choice. Maybe that's telling me I gotta start writing it in.
Maybe.
God
but
damn it.
the only time you got it was in Hawaii, and you chose Your Lie in April. And
that was pretty good, though. I like that.
Yeah, but if you remember your reasons for that,
no.
You said you picked it to punish me. And
it was actually pretty good.
It was really good.
This, I've seen an episode or two. It's on Netflix, and it looks pretty bad. That's why I didn't continue to watch it. But
how many episodes?
I think it's 12. Let's see. Yeah, 13.
No, it's not.
We can do 13.
Yeah, I can do. If it's a 12 or 13 episodes anime series, it's much easier to get through than anything else. So even if it's terrible, it's like, okay, well, I'll have this on in the background.
Yeah. An era of exploration begins with the sudden appearance of a new continent known as Magmel. Magmel's vast trove of never-before-seen natural resources spurs on the exploration of its vast landscape. However, the unknown is not always docile. In order to sustain the expeditions, people known as anglers specialize in dealing with Magmel's dangerous wildlife. One such angler is highly skilled and experienced in Inu, I guess that's his name, who performs search and rescue operations for clients with the help of his assistant Zero.
See, I can't really trust your opinion on the first episode because you always think
that's true. And well, let's be fair, a lot of the animes 2-3 episodes in, we're like, oh, it's not so bad.
It's true.
That being said, Netflix has had a lot of animes that go straight to Netflix that are pretty bad.
Yeah,
they've had a couple good ones.
The last one we watched was Levius on the show.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That was pretty bad.
But they've also had things like Ajin, which is phenomenal. I hope we get that. That's fantastic.
Is it Ajin, like A?
A-J-I-N.
Oh, Ajin?
Let's pronounce it Ajin, but yeah. It has nothing to do with gins. We're going to talk about this for a second. Essentially,
I don't care.
About 12% of the population, I believe it was 12%, turn into immortals. If you die, you fall on the ground and then you get back up.
Oh.
And there's also certain powers that they get that gets explained throughout. And it's really good.
Huh.
There's one or two others that are like that are just fantastic. But then there's others.
And
the Ultraman one.
That you said that we watched that we never did watch.
But I had watched a few episodes of it, so I thought I watched it.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
He thought we reviewed it. We didn't review it. I'm like, I have the list in front of me. We're not. There's no way we watched it. I would remember.
Tags for this Magmel one is action, adventure, fantasy, shonen, and superpower.
Well, it doesn't have the death tags, so which is comedy and ichi.
All right, guys. Next episode.
I just want to point out,
Magmel.
we like an anime when we go on for 40 minutes.
We kept going for a while
because usually if it's a bad anime, we can barely.
It's like 8 minutes. And we're like, let's get something else.
All right.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching.